Hello guys, and welcome to a new Wargame video today by me, Vulcan, and Val.
Hello guys.
Today we have another of the Reddit tournament games, 3v3 on Paddy field. And today, starting on the blue side, we have the Refugees with Barry Dillon, Future Pro, and Austrian Oak. Over on the red side, we have Buratino Start with Chiv, Master Moose, and the Goat. So what are your thoughts to begin with, Val?
Well, I think that if Buratino Start doesn't start with Buratinos, I will be very disappointed and very upset. So, I mean, that's one way to start the game. This should be quite an interesting map. We've got our first Scandinavian deck on the blue side. I honestly wasn't sure we'd see any of those in this tournament. At least in the sort of the top bracket of teams in the tournament, anyway.
Yeah, we've already seen the Refugees play a couple of games, I think, maybe only one. But they had a really nice comeback in the one we watched, so definitely have done well previously. We haven't seen Buratino Start yet, so this will be completely new for us. They're sending us some wonderful messages there. Well, Austrian Oak sending a few, and then the Goat also sending a few. I really wish the players would stop doing this.
I'm pretty sure that just saying that will make them want to do it more or less.
Yeah, it probably will. But anyway, let's have a quick look at some of these units that are getting put down. See if there is actually 6 Buratinos on the 6 Buratino side of things. We got one. Okay, Master Moose there with his 1 Buratino. Is there one up north? No, there is not. Okay.
You know, this is so disappointing. I came into this game expecting 6 Buratinos, but we only have 1 so far, ladies and gentlemen. So,
and it doesn't seem like many actual units are being placed down on the blue side. They're obviously, they're taking their sweet time. We have like a 5-minute deployment phase here.
That's true. Yeah.
So Barry Dillon just starting to decide to put out a few helicopters, more than a few AH-1J Cobras. Very nice aircraft, decent recon, very well armed for their recon and their price. So I don't know what he's going to exactly do with that many of them, but we'll have to wait and see.
So he has some kind of despicable helicopter-related plan.
Yeah, Future Pro, obviously, with his Scandinavian deck there, we've got the IKV 105s, very interesting sort of cavalry tank / vehicle. Then we've got the LV KV90s, aren't they the radar
They're the radar A, but they also have a good AP value. So they are, in my opinion, one of the funnest units in the game because they're like the AP, an AP version. Imagine if a Challenger marksman had less armor and a small amount of AP. Like that's what I imagine the LVKV to be.
Yeah.
So they're very good as anti-air units. They have quite a good autocannon, but more importantly, they absolutely destroy enemy transports. So very interesting.
It looks like Austrian Oak's going to be accompanying Future Pro in the top side, so they're probably going to go 2 players in the top and 1 player in the bot side so far.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it'll be.
Do you think they're going to go 1-1-1 rather than like 2-1?
Yeah, I think so, because this main road they're all on does go down to the center too. I think it's just because if they don't, then they're not going to have any units in the bottom because there's only helicopters.
Do you think the main contention's going to be between Lima and Echo or between India and Bravo?
I guess we'll have to see. I mean, last time we saw the Refugees on this map, it was against Patton's team, wasn't it, when they rushed India and took it very quickly. So maybe they'll go for another start like that, but they don't have any helicopter-borne troops on this top side apart from 1 recon unit. So I think we'll probably see a bit more of a default start from this map than we've seen the past one we did. At least from the blue side. I mean, the red side actually as well doesn't seem to have any kind of crazy heli rushes planned.
No, they're focusing a lot on we've got Skrezets, BMP3s and BTR90s, also the BRDM3 and Zarlos at Alpha. That's obviously going to go to Bravo. Then the red side's got obviously 2 players starting at Foxtrot. Master Moose going to move all of his units up towards Echo, and then we're going to have Chiv probably pushing towards Hotel.
This could go very, very badly for Barry Dillon with these helicopters if he's not careful.
Yeah, that's all he has so far. We've got like a Humvee in there, We got a V150 with some Navy SEALs. We got an LAV-25 Scout with its Bushmaster cannon. But the rest of it is just Cobras, really, and a couple of MH-60L DAPs. So, yeah, very reliant on helicopters early on. But let's have a look at Chiv's stuff. He has a Tor. He has 2 Tors, actually, and they're incredibly... Well, yeah, but the Tors have like that extended missile range against helicopters compared to the Tunguskas. Tunguska's
the
2,000
has a higher missile range. The
3,325 meter range against helicopters for Tunguska Ms and 3,150. Oh, sorry, I was reading the airplanes earlier.
It's an easy mistake to make. The Tors are very good against helicopters, though, as is the Tunguska. So
yeah, sorry about that. Little mistakes here and there.
It happens to the best of us, though. So don't worry.
BMP3s, they've got a massive chain of those coming down towards Hotel. Not going to be too useful against what Barry Dillon has, although it looks like he's pushing those Cobras and Super Cobras up towards the centre. So I think we're probably better off looking at what Master Moose has for anti-air. Although this MiG-23 MLD is definitely going to spot this push coming in. These Super Cobras might shoot it down.
Surely. One more missile, take it out. Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
This is probably going to go very badly, though. 2 Shilkas, a Tunguska.
Yeah, those Shilkas, the perfect unit for shooting down these helicopters at close range.
Although that Tunguska's going to go down, surely.
The AH-1J Cobras aren't actually that strong. They do manage to get it with the second volley, though, but all of the helicopters are dead. Simple as that.
The Tor and the Tunguska from Chev at the bottom has come in.
That's Barry Dillon's entire force pretty much destroyed.
Started with, yeah. I'm not quite sure I agree with that start.
They weren't even Navy SEALs in that V450. It's actually Rangers.
Oh, that's disappointing.
So, but those light riflemen and the scout there going to provide a little bit of resistance in Hotel, but I'm pretty sure Chiv's going to get full control of that. I think we're going to get more contention over between India and Bravo and between Lima and Echo. That seems to be where the fighting has started.
Interestingly enough, no super heavies in this middle area. I mean, we've seen.
Well, there's an M1A1 Abrams.
Yeah, but I mean, we like no M1A2s or BUs. I mean.
Oh, okay.
Because we've seen that start very often, especially because last time with refugees they started with 2, I believe, didn't they? For this area of the map as well.
Yeah. There was loads of T-72 BUs last time.
Everyone on both teams had BUs everywhere. It looks though, even though it did not quite go to plan with Barry Dillon in Hotel, the blue side is making a nice push through to the forest in Bravo, although some nice supporting fire from the T-72 B1 going to really slow that down.
They've also got a command point lead. We mustn't forget about this, actually. The amount of command units coming in. It looks like a lot of points have been put onto command units. We've got 2 coming in, reinforcing from Kilo. One's going to be going to India, one's going to be going to Mike, I would assume. So they started with 4 command units. They brought in 2 extra. And over on the red side, they now have 4, but you know, that's still a 2 deficit to the ones coming in from the blue side. So it's not going to be too soon before the blue side actually begin to increase their lead again.
So 6 Buratino Start, maybe not 6, but Master Moose is repping the Buratino there in the middle, doing a few short volleys, has really blocked off that crossroads, which is quite nice. Although the blue force, they have got a bit of a hold on to Echo, but Shiv realised that there's basically nothing in the bottom, so he's coming up for the hook round with his tanks and his BMP3s. So, but actually, no, it looks like he's pulling them back. That's quite interesting to me.
He is being very cautious with these BMP3s at the moment. They could definitely do a lot of damage if they pushed into Lima, especially with those very powerful, long-range ATGMs.
And the Tor cover as well, because you can't forget, I mean, the big risk of this is that if you push up with that many units, you know, you could get anti-tank planes. I mean, the blue side has brought a longbow in, I just noticed being called in for that area. But with those Tors there, that longbow is not going to accomplish anything.
Well, check out this Mi-24V on the bottom side, just getting free hits onto the Rangers because the Singer Cs are actually out of range at the moment. They've been dropped off on the other side of the river. And they're going to be forced to run across the bridge, and they might even get sniped before they fire. Okay, so the
I think
Mi-24B
the V
is going to come up into line of sight, and I think that second shot's going to take it down.
Yeah.
But the Motorstrelki managing to pick off the Ranger squad that was there, like Rifleman holding strong with the help of the Humvees and the V150s.
The longbow is coming in, but it has to be very careful. That Tunguska will absolutely demolish it if it goes in range.
Gonna have a field day shooting at those T-72s though, in the meantime.
That's true, yeah, and he's pulling it back now. Some nice micro from Barry Dillon. I mean, again, Barry Dillon did have a very bad start, but he is a very good player, as he's proved in the past, so this sort of micro definitely within his skill level, so yeah, we'll see how well he can make use of the longbow to try and recoup some of the failings.
That's a good point. The last time we saw Austrian Oak and the refugees, they were playing Red 4, and this time they've decided to play Blue 4, which is why we're possibly not seeing as many tanks, because we don't know the 6 Buratino Start style of play, which is why they might not be bringing in T-72 BUs. But on the Blue 4 side, it's not often you see Blue 4 rely so much on heavy tanks compared to the Red side, because of the way the armor works between the two. Like Red 4 armor is generally assumed to be stronger. Although did a BU
depends.
just, or is it a B1 just went down in Echo?
B1, I think. I'm not sure. Well, there was no BUs in that area, I think. I mean, I don't know. Like the M1A2 is just every bit as good as the T90 or the T72 BU, should I say? So they are both very good tanks. I mean, you could make the argument that due to the ATGM, the Red 4 tanks are slightly better, but people will argue that till the end of time. Honestly, there's the two school of thoughts there on whether the ATGM gives the advantage to the Red 4 tank.
I'm not sure if you can still do it, but the sort of the quick micro on the ATGM, you can turn off the ATGM via the cannon and turn the ATGM back on, and you get the cannon firing at the same time.
Yeah, I believe you can, but it is hard to pull off. I mean, that level of micro can be very rewarding, but it can be quite hard to do, especially when you've got everything going on at the same time. But I mean, let's take a look at the map and how it's going now. So the red side has just completely captured Hotel. I think it will be extremely difficult to recapture from blue. I mean, it looked like as well, I think, that Future Pro brought some units in to try and support Barry Dillon on the bottom, but they got taken out, I think.
Yeah, well, I think everyone did, because even Austrian Oaks there, he's got some small squads with his LVTPs as well. Small's actually sniping a few units here and there. But I think maybe the red side don't realise how much they actually destroyed so far. Especially after, if you saw that amount of helicopters come towards you and you shot them all down, that's a pretty big tell that the enemy just wasted like their entire start points on those units. And I think it's surprising to see how little Chiv achieved with the amount of forces he had in such a good position.
Yeah, I would agree. Although I mean, you do have to be wary of going a bit far. But I mean, I think he could have pushed up into Lima, like hooked around maybe. But they have still secured Hotel. They've maybe they didn't want to make the more risky play because they've already secured the points lead if they cap everything they control.
Yeah,
it's just a question of actually doing that.
Yeah, they do need to get their commands in sooner than later, because that is something they have been slow on so far. Blue side already bringing in a command for Lima, even though it's not necessarily entirely secure. And I think that's definitely something you should do in Conquest, is like, you can afford to be a little bit risky with your command units if you're going to get a lead that will remain for the rest of the game. Because at the moment, blue side, they are like 100 points ahead. Then they did just have a +1 lead until that got neutralized by the UAZ and Hotel. But having that 100-point buffer at this point in the game is extremely useful to just sort of stall.
Yeah, of course.
They can go full defensive, and then now it's completely up to the red side in order to get the sectors they need in order to put a +1 lead back on the board.
Well, they will do soon once they capture Echo. But yeah, It's definitely at this point, like you mentioned, like once you get those CVs in, once it gets to 0 points, if one team has a lead, like in a lot of Conquest games, it will go the full 40 minutes or whatever it is, just with, with no points being changed in either direction if the defenses are strong enough and the attacks are weak enough. So it's definitely useful to try and get a points lead, even if it is a little. It might not. It's not always the best decision, but I think that a lot of the time, getting a points lead early on is very important.
So we see in the middle, like there was a quick kill onto a VDV squad.
Ooh, that M1A1.
The CEV plus the M1A1 just like completely single shot a VDV squad. We saw a couple of aircraft go down there though. Massive exchange of air forces at the moment. Wow, 4 planes lost from the red side, 2 planes lost from the blue side.
Yeah, blue definitely came out on top of that. I mean, the MiG-27 earlier did take down an M1A1, but I mean, the MiG-27 is worth more than the M1A1, I believe. So,
well, it seems that the entire.
Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I tell a lie.
The entire game is sort of just like come down to airstrikes at the moment. There isn't really much movement on the map. Blue side's completely stationary at India, red side's completely stationary at Bravo. The only place where something's really happening is like from Lima to Echo at the moment. We've got a few forces coming down from Mike towards Hotel, but there's not much point in them pushing in that direction now, I don't think. Yeah, okay, maybe set up a few defensive stuff around the bottom side of Lima and Mike so that you can't get flanked from all those heavy units. But at the same time, they need to like punch through somewhere, and maybe just in the middle because it's quite easier to reinforce at the moment would be a good choice.
Yeah, I mean they do have a decent force they put into this forest area, especially with the M1 Abrams coming up as well. I mean, it's not the strongest tank in the world, that's for sure, but it's definitely a bit of stopping power against that B1.
Well, I think an M1 IP is actually like a staple choice when you're thinking of like a US deck.
Oh no, they brought in the regular M1.
Oh, where is that?
Down Austrian down.
At the bottom side. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, the M1 IP I think would be far better suited, but I mean they've chosen to go with the M1 there for reasons known to them, I suppose. Yeah, I'm sure there will be a reason. There's a nice Buratino strike here, although missing most of the infantry. It looks like they'd already cleared into the right-hand forest by that point.
Yeah, unfortunately Massimo is missing out on that, but the Su-27PU that was flying around the backside of the red side forces actually just helped shoot down 2 more aircraft from the blue side.
There's an aircraft graveyard this game so far.
Yeah, all the points going into air and really not paying off at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see how that leaves both teams.
I often find something that sorry to interject, but something that always really bothers me at this point in the game, because we've seen it many times, not just in this tournament but just in general play. I think it happens is you get to this point, one team might have a slight advantage, like in this case red has a slight advantage in Hotel, but otherwise it's generally a bit of a back and forth stalemate, and then people start buying one plane at a time and sending in 1 or 2 at a time, and they had this points lead that they'd accrued by good play, like Hotel, like the red side even had gained a points lead by killing all the Barry Dillon's helicopters. But then they threw away like 4 or 5 planes in about a minute.
Yeah, well they just did the same then.
Yeah, they didn't recoup even half those, I think. Even half the points cost. And that Nassans is deadly as well, that might take that down too.
Yeah, they lost a Su-24M, they lost a MiG-25BM, I think it was, something like that.
Yeah, the Siege version.
Just so many planes being shot down for free at the moment. And that NASAMS, can that be targeted by?
Yeah, it can.
Siege? Yes, it can.
It is
okay. I'm thinking of the AOTS Hawk you can get from Scandinavia. But either way, yeah, red side literally just threw away another bunch of planes, but so have blue side. Blue side have done exactly the same thing. But you're exactly right about what kind of happens in like this mid game. We got a massive stalemate, and now everyone's thinking, oh, what can we do to break this stalemate? Oh, we're going to use airplanes. That's not what you need to do. What you need to do is like amass a sort of a push. Like in Conquest, you always have enough points to sort of amass a certain amount of troops on in a specific position on the map.
Yeah,
and it's up to you where you use that, and obviously that affects the outcome of the game. But they could amass like their units at Lima, for example, and punch through into Echo, even though Echo's being like reinforced at the moment, so that might not necessarily work. But maybe if they did it from India to Bravo, because again, this is just like stationary fronts aren't doing anything. They've got units of like Leopards, they've got like the LV KV-90s, obviously they're anti-air, but you know they can be useful. And they've got the CV-903 ONs at the top side. They've dropped off some Gouvernement, and they're not being used at the moment, even though they could probably push them forwards and attack those Spetsnaz Gru in the VDV with some recon.
So to interrupt though, they are doing just that. It looks like Blue, because they'd grouped up a few of these V150 90mm and some AGSs at the bottom area, no hotel. It looks like they are going for kind of a two-pronged push through that top side and through the river, although I'm not sure how much this will actually accomplish. I think they'll be able to recapture those building blocks, but I don't think they can take hotel off this. But yeah, I think that you do need to. I mean, a few, like last game and the game before that we recasted on Jungle Law, we did discuss how sometimes waiting to build up a force can be a bit detrimental late on in the game, because you might like need to just go. But it's 23 minutes left in the game. You can spend quite a while, really, I think, at this point in the game, to make sure that you have the right composition, you have the right units, that you can actually make the push succeed. Like, you don't have to be desperate, you don't have to rush. I mean, especially Blue side now, they're still in the points lead, technically. And they have amassed a big push here in the bottom side. Lots of these.
But is it in the right place? That is the question.
Well, I guess we'll find out, really. Well, there's two AGSs.
It's an
missing.
interesting push. In the middle, I'm not sure if you saw, but another massive airstrike came in from the red side. A MiG-27 got shot down, but it managed to kill a STRV-121 and a NASAMS.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's very good value.
So that was pretty good. But an SU-24 and an SU-24M, I think, also went down, so not maybe as worth it. And the SU-24M was just short of killing the command unit in Lima, actually, as well. So it was an interesting airstrike, but just didn't pay off again for the red side. And I think this is really affecting them in the bottom side of the map at Hotel here.
Well, they're having to retreat. They had such a solid hold on this Hotel sector, and they've been forced back. I mean, if they would have spent the money that they spent on planes, maybe a few more armoured reinforcements, like tank reinforcements, I believe they would be in a better position. I mean, you know, this is hindsight. Maybe at the time they were very worried about pushing the middle, and that's why they spammed all the planes. But I still feel that, you know, to defend, you don't need, you know, a crazy amount of bombing strikes. Like, there must have been about 3 SU-24Ms that went down. They're really expensive bombers. I mean, when you look at, like, they threw a load of MiG-27s as well. 1 or 2 stack of Conquer's M's.
We got
lots of things.
The M8 AGSs actually being used how they're supposed to. They were just driving across the field there, absolutely annihilating like APCs left and right. Unfortunately, the counter to M8 AGSs in the open is obviously a helicopter, especially if they're not supported by anti-air. So the Mi-8 stops their push in its tracks, but the aircraft comes in there, gets a wonderful snipe onto the Hotel command unit.
And the Tors out of ammo as well, so it's kind of
we saw at the bottom side of Hotel a longbow actually got shot down by an Igla N squad just before the Igla N squad got killed. So it's a bit unfortunate for the red side, but a nice kill. Well, a nice kill for the red side, a bit unfortunate for the blue side that Igla N squad survived just enough time to get that kill.
Can I just point out something that's really quite strange, but also very interesting? At the top of the map, you'll see an automatic on its. Well, it does have some APCs now, but it was all on its lonesome. And you know what was very funny? It killed about 3 BRDM recons. It has a great amount of AP. In fact, a ridiculous amount of AP, 12 AP, for the auto cannon at 60 rounds a minute. And because of its long range as well, all the recon stuff that they sent to try and kill it just got destroyed by the automatic. So I don't think I've ever seen someone play an automatic that far up on its own, but I suppose it's worked out for them so far.
There's some Uragans on the map. Been a long time since I've seen some of them in use, but they were fired towards that top side of Echo to try and take out some infantry, but a bit of overkill going on there.
Did they realise there's nothing left in there? Now they're Buratinoing it too.
Yeah, there was a T-72 BU there a second ago. I have no idea where that went.
It's moved back to the right. It's just moving forward now.
Oh, okay. It was hidden by the Urals.
Yeah, there's crafty Urals. I have to say, I'm very disappointed though. I mean, they're called 6 Buratino Start. Not only do they only bring 1 Buratino, but they don't even bring more. They just bring Urgans instead.
6 Urgan Start. It doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
That's true.
And now they're finally doing something in the top side with these CB903s. As I said before, they just need some recon, and then they can snipe all these infantry squads that are sitting in the edge of the tree line there. That's something that you never really want to do, is just sit infantry in the edge of a tree line.
No, they have to be further back.
Yeah, you want to keep them further back, and then if you see the enemy moving forwards, then move them.
Yeah, you push them in as reserves, and that's usually the best way to handle it.
Yeah, when the enemy gets in range of the edge of the forest, you can then move your infantry up. Look at this push now, though. Barry Dillon on the bottom side. He's got a nice spread of like infantry, the rangers, and so on, and he's making a push over the open, and it's a very interesting strategy. Mi-24V nearly got taken down by the OH.
One more shot. Oh, will the Stinger get off? Oh, the Hornet takes it down.
Oh, the Hornet comes in, takes it out.
Disgusting. Oh, someone wasn't micromanaging their seed properly. The 2 Prowlers from Barry Dillon coming in and... Oh, the Tunguska as well.
What did the Prowlers hit?
They, I think it was a Tunguska or a Shilka. You see the forest where those...
Yeah, I saw where the missiles went. I just thought that there wasn't anything there. I thought they mistargeted because the Tunguska turned off its radar in time.
No.
But anyway, we've got the CV903s coming down from the top side, but they're going to be countered by the Mi-28 unless...
Oh, the automatics just there in time.
Well, they didn't save the APC, but the automatic's going to get a juicy kill onto that helicopter.
The automatic is truly the most disgusting anti-air unit in this entire game. Not only does it destroy tanks with its 12 AP and 60 rounds a minute, it also destroys helicopters. Who would have thought? With 304 suppression as well, so... You know, whenever you send a helicopter in, it will usually get suppressed for a shot, but this is a nice push.
I'm honestly really liking this push from like Austrian Oak and Barry Dillon on the bottom. It was really interesting, and it's not often you see like infantry spread like that over like out in the open, because infantry out in the open is very vulnerable to like mortars, to rocket pods from helicopters, and you know, plenty of other stuff like tanks even, but. In this case, they use the Bradley IFVs to support against enemy tanks and the APCs very well, and they also had the Ladstinger C squads there that were shooting down helicopters until they all ran out of ammunition. So it was a nice move and a nice managed push until they ran out of ammunition, which has unfortunately cost them a couple units against the Mi-28.
It'll be interesting to see how this goes now, because the red side over with the Goat and Shiv do have, well, they have more tanks, let's put it that way, than the blue side, or at least more heavier tanks. It'll be interesting to see how this goes. That poor Apache has gone too far.
Yeah.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
Tunguska M getting that quick kill.
But we'll see. Oh, the Hornet coming in with the snipe. Not quite as worthwhile as the thing though.
Well, the Prowlers came in there, but the Tunguska, well, it wasn't turned off. They just didn't get in range.
No, it was. They turned the radar gun off, and then microed it back on.
Oh, okay.
But it did go down, but it got the revenge onto the
There was a lot of stuff brought in there just for that Tunguska, but they managed to get rid of it in the end. And another one just coming in as reinforcements just a little bit further up to replace it anyway. So hopefully they don't think that there's no AA there now, because otherwise they're going to severely pay for that with a replacement Tunguska M.
We have a very interesting situation. It's almost like the reverse stalemate of what was happening before. Now, the blue side has a decent hold. Although then again, saying that, the MP3 is coming in with supporting infantry. A very strong push from Shiv. He's had enough. He's decided it's time.
The BMP3 is sort of the equivalent to like a Bradley coming across with the spread out Mojostrelki, so sort of mimicking their opponents.
A nice napalm field there just to stop them in their tracks. I mean, it won't destroy them per se, but it should do a very good job of
slowing them down.
Slowing them down. And
it's very interesting to see how Barry Dillon's using these Prowlers. Yeah, okay, the radar's being turned off, but it's like as soon as he doesn't see anything, he's just evacing them straight away.
Well, that's someone who knows the range very well.
He could circle them at a better range, like behind his own line. I think.
I mean, the thing about seed planes is that what you really want is to get a circle going, so that two planes are at the opposite end of the circle, like 180 degrees from each other each time, so that at all times a missile is primed to fire at any seed radar, any radar array even.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do though. So I mean, that's definitely the safest way to utilize that sort of seed, like the 2 seed, is to know the range on it, know the estimate of the range, so that once he gets to a certain point, he knows there's no radars on. I need to go now. So if he doesn't know, then he might be in a bit of trouble.
I think we've seen, we've missed a couple of plays. The Ka-52 came in quite a while ago and destroyed the automatic on the top side with its anti-radar missile. But also a bomber came in and actually blew up the Euroguns with a couple of 1,000 kilogram bombs. So that was a really nice strike. We see a MiG-27 going down.
Taking out the CV in the bottom.
But it did get the CV. The M8AGSs were moving forwards and firing on the move like they are supposed to do. And they're actually doing pretty well at the moment, being pretty effective. They just got to be careful of those HGMs because they are very lightly armoured. You can see the T-72B1 there, almost one-shotting an M8AGS. Oh, I just got out of there.
It looks like the CV and Echo got smirched, I believe. Not smirched. What do they have? Cluster bomb, maybe?
The M8AGS is actually routing for the first time. I haven't seen a rout in a long time. I'm going to be completely honest. Automatic actually did do a lot of damage, but got killed by an Mi-28, and that's actually left the Mi-28 to clean up a lot of units. These Prowlers and the Hornets and the Phantoms, really nice combined strike there. Although these Tunguskas can afford to turn back their radar on, so that's one Phantom 2 down.
Oh, 16 AM coming in for that. Actually, I think they're probably going to take it out. Oh no, never mind. Oh no, they did take it out. Not worthwhile though.
16 AM going down. Also the Phantom 2 as well.
Oh, the Prowler though, taking out an the PU
Prowler getting one, and the SU-27PU is going to return the kill.
I feel like Red did get a slight advantage on that in terms of points, but I mean, again, they have lost a bit of pressure. That helicopter is gone, and there's reinforcing units coming from Barry Dillon to this bottom side. Very heavily contested. This has been a close fight in the bottom.
It's very different to our normal Paddy field battles. There's nothing going on in India anymore, and there's nothing going on between Lima and Echo. Since the blue side got pushed out of the top side of Echo, nothing's really happened there, and all of the contention on this map has happened at Hotel, which is very different to usual. But I think it's actually down to the deck that Barry Dillon is using. He's using this. It doesn't quite look like a standard US deck. Yeah, it looks like it looks like something like an airborne deck. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. And he's using all these like cheap infantry to make pushes across the ground, and it's actually paying off for him, I think, or it seems to be. You know, we've got these M8AGSs that they're really good at like sniping these APCs. Not so good against heavy tanks at range, but definitely making a difference in the bomb side.
Oh, I like Rifleman getting a nice pick off onto BTR-90 that was a bit close. 2 Humvee TOW2s, if they hit, they're going to do a lot of damage.
Okay, so that's what he's going to use to break these heavy tanks, it looks like. These TOW2s from Austria, actually.
True.
25 AP power there, 70% accuracy, very strong against heavy armor. Got to be careful of this Mi-28 though, it's sneaking back up, and if there isn't any AA in range, then those Humvee TOW2s are going to get destroyed.
It looks like that's going to be the case. Missile coming in, attacker missile. It's a very strong anti-tank missile. 25 AP, 65% accuracy in a ridiculous range. So the Mi-28, I mean, I think I don't know if you agree with this, I tend to see more Akulas, but I do like the Mi-28, a very large amount.
Yeah, it's the Havoc, isn't it?
Yeah, the Havoc.
Yeah, it's a very cool looking like helicopter in my opinion. But it definitely has. Does it have more?
It has more missiles.
Yeah,
more missiles.
people use it mainly because of the rocket pods, I think, rather than because the KA-52 doesn't actually have any rocket pods. It just has its main gun, like its cannon.
No, I'm pretty sure it does have rocket pods, doesn't it?
No, the cooler doesn't have rocket pods. It just has the anti-air radar or anti-air Igla missiles.
No, the KA-50 cooler, not the KA-52. Sorry.
Yeah, well, neither of them do, because the KA-52 has anti-radar and anti-ground, plus its main cannon.
Of course, they've got the anti-air and the anti-ground. Yeah, you're right.
And it's the same for the other
one.
Yeah,
100%.
So, yeah, SU-27PU coming in there, shooting down a Harrier. I am liking those Harriers as well. I think that is why he's using this airborne deck. It's mainly for this Air Force. He's using these, like, cheap Harriers with their rocket pods to snipe, like, important AA targets. So he's used a couple of them to destroy like Tunguska M's, and eventually, you know, they are going to run out of Tunguska M's if they're not careful. They do have a lot of prowlers as well.
Let's take a look away from the bottom though, because if you look into the middle, there is a very interesting push going on, supported by smoke, which always makes me happy. A very good push. I think this will crush all the way through. Those Kurst Jaeger and the MIP Abrams, there's not enough to stop this, I think.
Yeah, well, with like 10 minutes left on the clock, it looks like they managed to destroy the SCRV-121 that was sitting on the top side of Lima. Well, there was they replaced it and it got destroyed again. But let's see how much this Draken does. Did a reasonable amount of damage to some VDV, but honestly, like you say, this has the potential to push all the way through. Although an Atacam shot on top of this T-64, no, that missed.
No, missed, I think.
It looks like they were trying to predict the movement of of the T-64.
Oh no, I think it did actually hit one.
No, the other one was already.
Was it already tagged?
It was already tagged.
It doesn't matter now. It's now dead.
The M1IP Abrams are going to be able to take on that T-64 if they get the shots off first.
I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. There's the last one's 1 HP and panicked.
Yeah, it was panicked, so unfortunately not very effective there and did miss its shot.
Hornet does take out the BU though.
Oh, and it also took out that T-72 on the top side. The Prowler also takes out a Tunguska M at the backside of the push. So all the heavy tanks gone, all of a sudden. And the CV9030Ns are definitely what you need to clear up some of these Skrezets.
They're going to do a good job, but I do feel like they're unfortunately in range of those deadly RPG-29 missiles. A nice napalm strike coming right in though. It's going to miss those VDV in the corner, but going to land directly on all that infantry, panicking them and doing a lot of damage. It looks like the red side has sort of changed doctrine a bit, because they were sort of fulling troops into the bottom, and now they're just holding a defensive line. They're going for this middle push. It looks like, if you look in the top side as well, Future Pro has done a very cheeky little push with some APCs. It looks like Goat didn't really have that much there.
Well, he'd been sniping those sooner with earlier with the CV9030N, and I don't think they were reinforced. So he's managed to get that APC through, and it looks like it's going to take out that Tunguska. It might take out the one on the road as well, although
I don't think so.
The Tunguska M stunning that and the Spetsnaz screw finishing it off. But red side were forced to push through the middle, mainly because there was a +1 lead for the blue side in Hotel, and that basically forced this Lima push, and now it's starting to pay off. This is what we were talking about in our previous casts, is that you need to blob units. Even at the start of this game, we were talking about it. You need to blob units properly if you want to pull off a successful push. And in this case, look at that. They just took out the command at Mike, and they've got a command in Lima counter-capping that against that CP that's sitting in the corner, which isn't going to last very long because they know exactly where it is. However, we got to recognize Barry Dillon pushing across the field here with his M8 AGSs. Those cavalry tanks, 60% accuracy on the move, are going to start doing a lot of damage. Got to be careful of those Conkers M squads though. They are going to pick off those M8s.
They only have 6 missiles, so we'll see how that goes. I mean, I was actually just about to say that one of the risks that that Blue were taking was they put a lot of investment into Hotel, but now I think even though they have lost position on Lima, they do have this nice uppercut almost into Echo. They could surround these forces in Lima. They just have to get past the MI28 first, and that's a very fearsome opponent.
They haven't got any close range AR. Oh, that Chaparral though just took out 2 MI24Vs that were right next to each other.
Beautiful.
One shot, 2 kills.
An M coming in down this bottom side.
We got the +2 conquest lead for the red team at the moment because they managed to capture Lima and neutralize Mike. So I'm not sure if that's really going to be enough until the end of the game if the blue side managed to maybe take out one of these CVs and Echo or Delta maybe with this push up from Hotel.
Another MI28 coming in to show those tanks a bad time, I suppose. Although there's not really many tanks left.
Most of the M8's got taken out already. There's one pushing forwards.
Left and one with no fuel, so not very useful.
Oh, Longbow coming in at Lima. That's going to probably take out that T-72BU pretty easily.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think Moose hasn't noticed this, otherwise he won't be moving it all the way forward. Although it looks like it's an INO.
The Leopard 1A5s get the side shot there. Very nice. And yeah, these Skrezets have just driven straight through the entire map. The Panzerbills should be able to take out that other Skrezet though. Unless it gets away. Run. Oh, it might actually get away.
Yeah, no, I think it will. They actually changed the M8 Panzerbill. Because it used to have an accidental auto-loader bonus or something. I think it used to have a bonus it shouldn't have actually had, I believe, which is why it was so good.
Well, it is still really good because it has the 20 rounds per minute. Like, that's what makes them really awesome. That's why people bring them.
Both of our friend Rangru, he absolutely loves the M8 Panzerbill. I'm not entirely sure why, but he has some kind of strange attachment to it that he's never going to change. There's a bombing strike coming from Future Pro in Alpha at the top. Looks like he's probably just going to go for trying to find a CV, I think. Little does he know there's 2 CV. Oh, no, there's only 1 CV. That's going for a Ural. Okay, that was just a blind guess.
Yeah, but they bombed there before, and it's interesting to see him bomb the same place. It looks like they managed to... I was going to say they neutralized Lima, but no, the T-72 was just moving for a second. So still +2 for the red side. And we're coming down towards the end of the game now. 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. It'll be interesting to see if red side can get a decisive victory out of this, or whether or not it'll be another draw. The Skrezet is so close to the M. Oh my
it's run out of fuel. I can see it.
It's found it. It hasn't quite run out of fuel yet. Yeah, it's still got 45 left.
Oh, true, 45.
But if it gets off this second round, oh yeah, it's definitely going to kill it.
They haven't noticed, have they?
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
That's a +4 now for the red side. With 2 minutes left to go, that surely should accrue enough points to win this game.
You think there's the CV in Delta's about to go down? I think. At this point, they should probably just turn the weapons on because, there's not much else you can do with it, really. They're just leaving it to die without turning the weapons on. But look at this, the 2 MiG-27s, I think, coming in for the gun runs to try and stop.
Yeah, they're trying to stop some of the stuff in Charlie. Oh, look at this, the Cobra. Is it gonna?
Oh! No. The M comes in with the gun.
Yeah, it's denied. But still, +2 now for the red side still with 1 minute to go, and they have passed the blue side for the first time in this game. So, right when it matters, they've really managed to snipe a few of these command units. And I think in comparison to Jungle Lore, like the roads lead to sectors in this map. And it's very easy if you do break through to just steamroll that, because there are roads everywhere that lead to pretty much every part of the map. Yeah. And you can take full advantage of that, and they definitely did with those Skrezets. Like the Skrezets came through, and they killed the command at Mike. They also killed the one at Juliet, and they cost the blue team this game, really, as long as they make up enough points in order to actually get like a minor victory. It'll probably
they definitely will at this point. I don't think there's any way that blue can actually accrue enough points in that time unless they randomly manage to bomb like all of their 2-point sectors. I don't know. I mean, I think that I mean, obviously, you do have to hand it off for Red for doing a very good push in the centre. They sort of saw that slight weakness and they just pounced for it. And oh, that longbow going down. Speaking of weaknesses in the centre, I feel that the blue side were paying a bit too much attention to Hotel, and the red side they were a bit earlier on the pickup. They thought, hey, look at this. These guys have sent so many points down to Hotel. Let's just pull back and defend. Let's push all the way through into Lima, and they did. They've done a brilliant job, and that's the game. A victory.
Yeah, minor victory there for the red team. So good job to six Buratino Start, and unfortunately for the refugees, a loss. But yeah, like you say, the kills and losses almost exactly the same. What's that, like 60-something point difference?
Just about. I mean, this game really came down to the wire.
I don't think so. I don't think you can really put it that way. Yeah, okay, it looked like that in terms of the conquest points.
Oh, in points wise, yeah. I mean, at the end, the red side made the strategic gains.
They were way more decisive at the end. It was at the beginning. It seemed like both teams were like testing themselves or like testing each other with their aircraft. And blue side, they could do that because they had the airborne deck by the looks of things, and that had dispensable aircraft, right, that they could use to do that. But red side then, I don't know if they had more effective strikes or whether the blue side had more effective strikes. It seemed like the red had more effective strikes, in my opinion. I saw more stuff go down on the blue side.
From what I saw, and I thought this was very important, the red side, I think, probably lost slightly more in terms of points with their plane strikes. That's how it seemed to me. But they gained themselves a strategic advantage on the ground by doing it. I think a lot of the losses, a lot of the trades that they did, while not points favourable, they took out heavy tanks. They took, all these various things that they killed and pushed back, allowed for this great push that they did in the centre. Whereas the blue side spent loads of money on seed, all this stuff. They did do quite a few good anti-ground strikes, but I mean, a lot of their planes were all invested in the bottom. And so personally, I think that while it seemed to me, I mean, this obviously might not be the case, but it seemed to me that the points were in Blue's favour in terms of the trades that happened with the planes and what they took out for the planes' lives. I think the strategic gains of those planes were far more valuable. Like the units they killed allowed for a hole for Red to push through.
Yeah, well, most of the red force strikes were in the center.
Yeah,
which was exactly where they pushed, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to use your aircraft to support your pushes, and that's exactly what they did. Whereas red or blue force was a lot more spread out. They were trying to bomb, on the top side of the map, the bottom side of the map, in the middle sometimes, and that cost them a lot of aircraft, and also didn't really give them any like superior strategic advantage, like you said. So yeah, that's a very good point. I don't know. It wasn't like the most exciting game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It kind of got a bit stale. In terms of there was only action happening at one point in the map at any time. So at the beginning of the map, there was a little bit of fighting in the top side. Then there was a big sort of fight in the middle side, where the blue side got a lot of ground on the red side of the map, and then they got pushed all the way back, and it just stayed even. And then like the blue side tried to hit them in the bottom, and it worked very nicely. And the blue side got a nice, a nice foothold in Hotel, but then the red side noticed that there wasn't really much left in the middle anymore. So, boom goes the dynamite, and that's the end of the game.
Yeah.
Because the decisive nature of the red side team was just a lot better in that situation.
I agree. I completely agree.
And that's what won them the game.
I do like as well that today, the past two games we casted, we had teams that made these brilliant pushes but then still lost, or drew in the second game. Where that happened in Jungle Law. This time, a team pushed at the end and they did it in time and they won.
Yeah, they did it with 10 minutes to spare
10 minutes
instead
to spare.
of 5 minutes to spare, and it just made all the difference. So yeah, they finally proved our point.
There's a lesson, guys. Just give yourself time. If you're planning to, Don't sit back for too long, because it gets to the point when you realise you only have 5 minutes left and you can't even get the points lead even if you succeed with your push. So sometimes you just need to go.
I think it is just being conscious of time in the
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
especially
definitely.
in Conquest. It makes a big difference. But any last words?
Not really. It was very interesting, but a bit of a grindy slugfest. It went back and forward, but in the end, Red, ended up pushing through and got a deserved victory there.
Yeah, I think both teams could, deserve to win at the end of the day, but Red's
Red actually did win.
decisive and actually picked up the win. So anyway, that's all. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.